Welcome to our deep dive into the infrastructure of the U.S. Mexico border. Sources for this video are listed at the end. Across its nearly 2,000 miles, the border is far from a monolithic wall. Instead, it's a complex system of barriers, technology, and natural obstacles working in concert to manage cross-border movement. The border's infrastructure can be broken down into three main components: primary, secondary, and tertiary barriers, each with a specific purpose to deter unauthorized crossings. The primary barrier, closest to the international boundary, is designed to prevent unauthorized pedestrian crossings. The secondary barrier, situated behind the primary one, aims to stop vehicles and further deter individuals who may have breached the primary barrier. Some areas also feature tertiary barriers and additional infrastructure for added security. These might include surveillance technology, lighting, and roads for Border Patrol vehicles. It's important to remember that the design, number of layers, and technology can vary greatly depending on the region and available funding. We'll be exploring these elements in detail, so buckle up as we journey along the U.S. Mexico border. The U.S. Mexico border spans nearly 2,000 miles, but how much of it is actually walled off? Let's dive into the numbers. To understand the border under Trump's administration, we need to rewind to 2017, when he took office. Before 2017, about 654 miles, that's roughly 33.5% of the entire border, had some form of barrier. By 2020, the Trump administration constructed approximately 450 miles of barriers. While most of this replaced old barriers, about 80 miles covered areas previously unfenced. And it wasn't just about quantity. The new barriers were typically more substantial, primarily steel bollard fencing. In some sections, there's more than one barrier. There's a primary one right by the border, a secondary one a bit further in, and in some areas, even more layers. Between these barriers is the enforcement zone, equipped with roads, surveillance tech, and sometimes lighting. It's designed to deter crossings and help Border Patrol respond rapidly. All of this came at a price. Funding for the barriers largely came from U.S. federal funds, some even redirected from the Department of Defense. Our data comes from official sources like the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the Government Accountability Office, and more. Always good to double-check and verify. Understanding the data sources we've just discussed is crucial. Let's delve deeper into how to interpret this data and why it's important for a comprehensive understanding of border infrastructure. When examining reports from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, for instance, it's essential to look for updates on border infrastructure and apprehensions. This will provide a clear picture of what's happening on the ground. Government Accountability Office reports are also valuable as they shed light on federal spending. From these, you can gain insights into the financial aspects of barrier construction, its effectiveness, and the challenges faced. White House and Department of Homeland Security statements and briefings can provide up-to-date information on border security developments. While these may sometimes be politically charged, they often offer valuable insights into the current administration's perspective and plans. The Congressional Research Service's reports are particularly useful due to their neutrality and depth. They provide a detailed history of border barriers and their effectiveness, often backed by extensive citations. Lastly, the Federal Register, being the daily journal of the U.S. government, is a reliable source to verify specific executive actions or funding allocations related to the border. Remember, while these sources can offer a wealth of official data, it's important to always ensure you're looking at the most recent publications or updates to get the current status or details. By understanding and correctly interpreting this data, we can form a more accurate and nuanced view of border infrastructure. This is key to engaging in informed discussions and making educated decisions on this complex and often controversial topic. In order to create this comprehensive overview of border infrastructure, we've relied on several reputable sources. They include reports from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which offer crucial insights into the realities on the ground. We've also referenced the findings of the Government Accountability Office, shedding light on financial aspects of barrier construction, its effectiveness, and the challenges faced. Statements and briefings from the White House and Department of Homeland Security have given us current insights into the political perspectives and plans related to border security. Throughout our research, we've always double-checked and verified our information to ensure its accuracy. It's important to remember that in the complex and often controversial world of border infrastructure, having reliable sources and understanding how to interpret them is key to forming an educated viewpoint. If you found this video informative and want to keep up with our deep dives into important topics, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you're joining a community dedicated to understanding and discussing significant issues. Also, if you appreciate our efforts, please hit the like button. Your likes tell us that our work is valued and encourages us to continue creating content that matters. And to make sure you never miss any of our content, enable notifications. That way, you'll be the first to know when we release a new video. Stay tuned for more investigative and insightful videos. Your engagement and feedback help us to better serve you, and we appreciate your continued support.